The next stop is 103rd Street, Corona Plaza.
When I think about Langston Hughes, I always think about Dream Deferred. Langston Hughes was part of the Harlem Renaissance. He was a poet, he was an activist, and when they came together to think about a name for the library, all of them kind of agreed for this library to be named after Langston Hughes. It takes the community to build something and have the vision, and then act upon that vision.
Langston Hughes has always been and was designed to be a non-traditional experiment in library services.
The Library Action Committee was formed by community activists. It was formed because of the needs of the community. Corona East Elmhurst did not have a library.
They realized that libraries were not part of the tradition of the Black experience because we were not allowed to use libraries for so many years. In many cases, didn't have libraries anywhere nearby.
Now we've created in our community a circulating library with Black history and abundance of Black information.
The non-traditional approach that we took to library services meant that programming became our foundation. If you want to bring people into the library, a place that they're not used to being and in many cases could not go into, you don't do it just through books.
Fast forward to 50 plus years later, we have that opportunity to be so inclusive and be able to open our doors, which always goes back to why it's so amazing that this name is the Cultural Center, because no matter the culture, we can celebrate it here.
While the community has changed from an African American community to now is predominantly a Latin community, the library has changed and evolved and still satisfying and supporting the community.
Understanding that this library was created because a community outside felt that it did not reflect their culture is something that we take very seriously and take a lot of pride in. We're fortunate to be able to preserve the legacy of the African Americans while just adding additional programs and services. We also have the homework assistance programs. It was started in 1971, and I think that's so important to understand because they were the first. That excites me when people rediscover the libraries. Seeing that we have a hip hop coordinator or we have entrepreneurship classes, workforce development, and they realize that we can serve them beyond they could even imagine.
For me, this is just an amazing space for resources. It gives me ideas for my own work, a space for me to just soak in all the information. Where it's encouraging me to have an exploration of a bigger world outside of my small space here in Queens. I was able to showcase my work outside in the gallery. The community was just very welcoming. The kids were like, oh my God, you're a photographer, because I'm a woman, Dominican, right, Latina in the community. And that's a possibility that they perhaps didn't even see for themselves.
The Black Heritage Reference Center is the heartbeat of Langston Hughes Community Library and Culture Center. Anybody who's looking to be exposed to the Black experience, African American, Africana culture. Anybody who's looking to do research, anybody who's looking to read books by Black authors can use the library and are welcomed here.
Every individual has a life that connects with broader historical themes, events. In a neighborhood like Corona, where the Langston Hughes Library is located, there are people who live in the neighborhood still who were there at the time that Louis Armstrong and others were here. The Queens Name Explorer, it's an interactive map of all the places in Queens that are named after individual people. Part of our job as the Queens Public Library is to connect that history and then bring in new folks who have just come to the area and make them feel welcome. Also, make sure that they have an understanding of what the legacy of the area is.
This non-traditional, federally funded experiment is now the catalyst for all the things that libraries do across the country.
To me, this library represents a dream deferred that has come to be. It's more than just a brick and mortar, borrow books kind of place. It's a safe haven.